This is Chicago's very own WGN Midday News.
Ticks are a year-round threat in the Midwest, but they are even more active in the summer months, as you may know. And if you're a pet owner, now's the time to step up tick protection. Dr. Tony Kremer of Kremer Veterinary Services joins us now with advice on exactly how to do that. Hi, Dr. Kremer.
Hi there. How you doing?
Terrific. Thanks for joining us today. Let's start with some basic stuff. Most people who have pets are trying to do their best about getting to the vet, making sure shots are up to date. If we're doing all of that, are we doing enough this year in particular?
Well, this year especially, we had a really, really wet spring, lots and lots of rain, and so we have an anticipation that we're going to have a lengthy season for external parasites like fleas and ticks. And so with that in mind, certainly in the Midwest, it is a problem most of the year, and with the thought that it could be worse this year, I really want to impress upon people how easy it is for us to keep fleas and ticks off of our pets, and really to understand the hazards that go along with actually our pets picking these up.
Dr. Kremer, it's fair to say, too, that ticks and fleas are different depending on where you live, right? Some are more threatening in different regions of the country. What are your thoughts on that?
That's true, but things have dramatically changed. Over the last 20 years, diseases that are transmitted by ticks, like Lyme disease, were kind of to be in Lyme, Connecticut, where the disease was discovered. And now the Midwest area of the country actually has more cases of Lyme disease than that area, and so certainly plenty of ticks are out there doing some bad things. So we do have a problem in the Midwest. It's something we really need to take precaution to prevent.
All right, let's get to it. How do we prevent or avoid these flea tick bites in the best way possible? I mean, things like vaccinations are out there now?
Well, I will throw in really quickly that because these ticks transmit diseases that are transmissible to people as well, we do not want our pets dragging in ticks and actually having our family exposed to something like Lyme disease. So make sure your dog is vaccinated for Lyme disease every year. That's a vaccine that does not last more than a year, okay? But when it comes to getting rid of fleas and ticks, the technology has come a long way recently in that there's so much better ways to actually get rid of fleas and ticks. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the newest product out there, and that is a chewy treat that dogs take every 12 weeks. So we're talking about if we give this to our pet 4 times a year, then we're never going to see fleas and ticks. And it's super simple to do. For cats, they have a little drop that you drizzle on their neck every 3 months, basically, since our cats are a little bit more finicky about whether or not they will like to eat a treat or not. But again, this has been a dramatic way of getting rid of fleas and ticks. It's so much safer than a lot of the things that we used in the
Dr. Kremer, should our viewers be comfortable right now with the information that you share and your best practices, like a vaccination for Lyme disease annually? Does that mean every vet is also recommending that same thing, or is that an option to consider?
You know what, when you, again, going to your vet, vaccinations on pets is a very individual thing. What are they susceptible? What is your dog doing? But in this area, if your pet is out in an area, playing in the park, around, even in the city, ticks that are transmitted by birds and mice, they can be anywhere. So my opinion certainly is to have that vaccination. And then again, flea and tick prevention is something that, it's a simple thing, super safe. And I think most veterinarians out there are going to tell you that it's better to have some prevention versus trying to deal with removing ticks and fleas from our pets. And most pet owners are just kind of afraid of ticks, and it's kind of gross for them. And one of the scary they actually deal with their beloved pets. So it's better to just not have them around, and it's so easy to do nowadays.
Yes, we are all grossed out by ticks. If you find one on your pet, I would like to know from you, what is the best way to dispose of them? This is a question that comes from my colleagues, and I agree with it. Well, don't know what to do with the prize.
It's a very common question. Most times people call up and think that their pet has a growth or even a malignant tumor or something hanging from them that they didn't see even days ago. And so it can be scary. And sometimes that fear doesn't get alleviated when they find out that, oh, this is actually a tick instead of a tumor, because they've touched it and they are just grossed out by it. So when we remove ticks from a pet, we want to apply slow, even traction using something that you don't have to touch the tick, either a paper towel or tweezers or something. And in most cases, people just run into the vet and say, hey, you guys deal with it. This is just not something I want to do. Because sometimes it hurts when it gets pulled off. And sometimes, like I said, there's concern of leaving parts of the tick in. And sometimes it's just as easy to have the professionals deal with that.
So putting him in a Ziploc bag and closing off the airways, I hate to be so graphic, or I know the old traditional way, some people used to light them up, the ticks I'm talking about. Is that what we're supposed to do with these little guys?
It's, I guess it's the same as if somebody finds a big spider in their house. Deal with it the way you deal with it.
Right.
We don't want to run around and bite anyone again. So
we'll just figure it out on our own. All right, Dr. Kremer, thanks so much for your advice. Good reminder during this season. Dr. Kremer has 11 hospitals in Chicago and Ohio. For more information, you can check out drtony.com or animalcareinfo.com.
No, we let the spiders back outside to build webs to catch the mosquitoes.
Oh,
the ticks, that's another story.
It's always someone.